at the time when I started, I had a couple-month-old baby, and I was big. I mean, I was as heavy as I'd ever been. I was trying to get healthy. I was trying to work out. I was trying to run or play basketball or play softball or do something. And every time I'd do it, something would hurt and slow me down. And so just physically, speed bumps kept me from doing what I thought I knew was right. And I was tired, and kind of looking forward, thinking, I'm in a bad spot, and I've got a young baby and a wife, and I can't keep going like this. I saw Brent at church and watched his story and listened to his story, and had a couple other guys that were doing it and having a lot of success.
Chandler looked like a lot of us do after we're done playing baseball. Chandler was an amazing baseball player back in the day. He was a Gatorade Player of the Year his senior year, played in college. But there's something that happens to a lot of us that we just swell up. I don't know what the deal is, but former baseball players as a whole are not very healthy people. And so as I would see him at church every week, I didn't know him really well, but I knew he used to play baseball, but he had swelled up really big like I did.
So my wife and I talked, and we both decided if I was going to do this, I was going to do it, and I wasn't going to do it halfway. I was going to go all in. And so I started it right during the holiday season, basically. My wife's birthday is on the 22nd. Halloween, my birthday's on the 22nd of November, Thanksgiving. So you had all these things going in. It wasn't the best time to start it, but it was that October, and then I was probably close to 300 pounds. I would imagine. I think I weighed in that day at like 295 or 294.
Yeah, when I think of Chandler, I think of real consistency, because every time I met with him early, it didn't really matter what was going on with his numbers. And again, granted, each time his numbers seemed to be going in the right direction, except his metabolic age. And there came a time when he started to ask about that number. Why isn't that changing? Whatever. But he never let that derail him.
So I've had Crohn's disease since 2006-ish. Really, since I got up to that weight, I'd been somewhere near that for a while, but up around that time, I've had Crohn's, and I went back. I had to actually have my gallbladder removed. I had some gallstones this year, and so during all of that, they were doing some testing stuff, and Crohn's is completely gone. So you can't actually cure Crohn's apparently, but it's always going to be there. But it's completely in remission, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm completely off my Crohn's medication. So that was a big deal. I mean, it's for a lot of people, really, really, really bad disease, and so to get that completely gone and not to worry about it is just a blessing.
Well, when you think about the human body, you think about sickness and disease, it's all related to some form of inflammation. So LT360, trying to get healthy at the cellular level, is going to take, for one example, those inflammatory foods out of the body. And so when you start taking inflammatory foods out of the body, and you start working with the body, and you start working with your body's great healing regenerative powers, then things like that can happen in it.
And so I'm now down anywhere from I've gotten as low as 198. I stay right now somewhere between 208 and 212, depending on what I'm training for, what workout I'm doing, or kind of how life is going.
But he has really worked his tail off. I mean, he gets up early in the morning, 2-3 times a week, I think, to play basketball and work out. And he has really, really dedicated himself to the program. So I'm very, very proud of him.
I know my schedule every day. I know when the bells are going to ring. I don't get called very rarely. Do I get called into a meeting in a boardroom that takes up the whole afternoon? I mean, I know that class starts at this time, and the bell rings at this time, and I have a 5-minute break at this time, and outside of having to use the bathroom with students in the room, and you can't. I mean, outside of that, it is very, very, very easy to do this program as a teacher.
We've had a lot of great success with teachers and educators all over the state. I think a lot of it has to do with just the good routine that you can get in, especially during the school year, and the flexibility that our program allows you to do your exercise different times of day. A lot of our teachers walk together in the afternoons after school on the track around the school and in the neighborhood. So I think the structure of a school year it lends itself, just like any schedule and routine that you can get in with any job. Routine is absolutely critical to people being successful, and he found a great routine.
Do it. Find somebody to go with you. It works. It changed everything for me. I mean, I'm a whole new person because of it. I'm half a person because of it, but a whole new person because of it. And I would go back and do it again if I needed to, and again and again.
We walk this